Melania Trump, revealing in her book that both she and Barron were victims of political debanking. She writes, quote, "I was shocked and dismayed to learn that my longtime bank decided to terminate my account and deny my son the opportunity to open a new one." Friends, is this un-American practice still happening today? And how can it be uprooted? That's the question. Joining me now is social media influencer and my good friend, Bo Loudon. Bo, thank you for joining me this evening, brother. Always love spending time with you. What are your thoughts on this? Melania shared that she was debanked. Barron was debanked. I know you're one of Barron's best friends. Did he talk to you about at all about this when it happened? Were you aware of it, or did you have to hear about it from the rest of us from Melania's book?
No, I definitely heard about that from the rest of you guys, and they're very smart, very humble people. They don't typically go around complaining about it or whatever, but I'm glad they made us aware of that because I think it's awful. It's total corruption at its finest. And, this is one of my first interviews since the election that I couldn't be more happy that we won, and I'm glad to be back. But not to talk about things like this, they just won an election. Again, they should be happy. They should be able to go out and spend some money and enjoy time and buy gifts for the holidays and do basic things that they should have the rights to do. But because they're out there supporting our country, trying to make America great again, they're being persecuted and under attack directly by our government. It's not right.
No, it's not right at all. It's not right. And I know I had the opportunity and the privilege and the honor at your invite to get to spend some time with you and Barron Trump, and his dad was there. We got to see the president and president-elect now. This was a couple months ago. But you get a lot. You have a lot of time that you get to spend with Barron and with the family. What are some nuggets that the rest of us that don't get that close, don't have that opportunity to spend that kind of time? What could you tell us about Barron, the young man that in the dinner that we had, I know he is brilliant. He is a big thinker. What else would you say about Barron Trump?
I'd say he's your average kid who doesn't want to think average. He comes from a great family. They're all geniuses. They're great parents. They raised him really well. He knows his history. He's up to date on politics. He's already working on finances. He's out there. He's grinding. And he's going to start. He's going to take the real loyal, humble path. He's going to go to college and build up his name, as his own, instead of just trying to, maybe grift off his dad's last name like you see a lot of these people do. He's taken the correct route and the route that he should be taking, and I think it's great personally. So with them, they're a great family. They're raising great kids, and I couldn't be more proud to call him a friend. And just of the way they're raising him and the path that he's on, he's going to do some really incredible things, and I'm excited for America to see it.
Yeah, I think he is as well. Again, we got to have a good couple 2-3 hour dinner at Bedminster, amazing location, and he's got a lot of wisdom. He had a lot of very specific, very direct questions about a variety of topics. And I know it's fun. It's going to be fun to see him break onto the scene more politically, whatever's in his future. Now, I know I'm going to jump to you. You played a pretty pivotal role in a lot of the influencers that came to Mar-a-Lago that got to meet Barron and President Donald J. Trump elect. What do you think? What do you think your role was? How big do you think it was? I think it was huge. But what was it like to be able to be that connecting person to bring a lot of these major A-list, podcasters and influencer type figures to meet with President Trump and Barron?
Well, it was just my absolute greatest honor. I would love to try and narrow down how much of an impact I made. I'm not sure. With things like that, it can be super beneficial because these guys are massive influencers with tens of millions of followers, and they have an audience already built. They have an audience that's out there that maybe is more focused on something not as important like a video game or whatever it may be, or social media trends. But when they have someone like this come on and bring in a president-elect Donald Trump to talk about something that they've never thought about, never heard about, real issues going on that they haven't even crossed their mind. They're not seeing it on their TikTok feed. So it made a massive impact just to reach these audiences that weren't being reached. And I think it's good that we did it because, America is the greatest country for a multitude of reasons, but nowadays if you ask someone, you have to say something like, oh, it's great because we landed on the moon or because we beat the Nazis. But that's old history. We need some new history back in our country that makes America great. And that's why President Trump says he's going to make America great again, is because we have always been the greatest, but we need some new, fresh reasons to be called the greatest. Things like he did under his last presidency with no new wars, fighting sex trafficking, saving the kids, saving America, closing the border, things like that. That's what we need right now. We need America back to being America. And so that's why I couldn't be happier to do it. I didn't need the credit. I don't need a dime of money. I don't need anything. I just wanted to do it to help America and to help him win the election because he's doing it out of his humble manners. There's no reason why we as Americans can't do everything in our power to help him.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Bo, what would you say, understanding and seeing that the majority of young men have shifted towards Republican conservative values? I think you played a big role in that, but what would you say is the reason why young men are leaning more towards the Republican Party and President Trump than towards Joe and the Democrats?
Well, number one, I think most basically young men, when they see a political candidate embarrassing themselves on a stage by having twerking female rappers telling them why they should vote for her, I don't think we're very encouraged by that. That's not what we look for in any kind of a leader. That's not even what we look for in our regular social media influencers that we look up to and follow. We're not looking for them to have these female twerking on at their events and things like that. It was embarrassing, and to run a campaign like that was so embarrassing. That's why one of the I can't remember their name. You can correct me if you know. But one of the top Democratic leaders said Barron did more campaigning for President Trump than Kamala Harris's entire campaign did for her. And that couldn't be more true. Their campaigning was embarrassing, and I think young men are ready for a change. We look at things like Trump promising to actually lower the cost of college when Biden and Kamala ran on that promise already and failed. So, we're ready for someone who keeps their promises, who knows how to run a country, who knows how to make a business thrive, same way he's going to make our economy thrive. And he's going to take care of the real issues, They campaigned their entire campaign, again, the Kamala Harris campaign, campaigned on abortion being their biggest issue, and we're going to protect women's rights. That does nothing for women, and that's not the biggest issue. Things like sex trafficking, those are the real issues. That's what we wanted to see taken care of. So that's why young men, we were just in a good generation. We're in a generation of critical thinkers, and critical thinking is coming back. And with things like that, we're ready, and we needed a change.
Well, Bo, I got to tell you, you're a breath of fresh air to everybody out there that's wondering about your generation, the younger generation, and whether or not we have hope. You, I think, give all of us hope for the future of America. Bo Loudon, my little brother, thank you so much for joining this evening. I appreciate you, man.
My pleasure.